Welcome to Hot Topics After Dark with your host, Q Wiggins, architect and survival enthusiast, and Jeffrey DeShawn, strategic advisor, coach, and author. Let's get talking.
Hey Q, what's up today?
Hey baby, how you doing? You okay?
I'm doing all right. You know, the sun is shining, got a couple days of some good weather. So, besides people, I can't complain. You know. What's going on in your world? Because I woke up to some things on my timelines that kind of just got me, my head just exploding and popping. So
exploding and popping?
Yeah, I'm exploding, popping. I'm very reactionary today. So fair warning. I'm reacting to stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on out here. Yeah. What's going on with you?
My timeline doesn't seem very, anything that moves me in any direction. But I don't know, it might be filtered, so I don't know. But life can be a trigger. Life experience can trigger you a little bit.
Oh,
but
yes, it
not
can.
too much, not too much on the timeline that's looking like a lot. So
Yes. So what's going on in the life world? What's happening?
In life world, yesterday I went to a bow making class, like you learn how to make bows from nature. So
like bow plus arrow.
Yeah, like go grab a tree and make a bow.
Okay, look at you.
And make an arrow. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I know that. I already knew. I mean, that's why you give us our survival tips, But a bow and okay.
We got to keep growing. You got to keep, developing the skill. So
that had to be interesting. Who go to bow and curiosity? Who else was there?
Lots of Republicans. We don't talk. Nobody talks about what the political affiliation, but about what they're talking about, their political affiliations. So
that must be interesting. What
it is very important, and it makes me want to work that much more for my community, because it's like, when you listen to folks and you hear some of the things that they are saying, it's like, oh my God, my people have no clue that this is like what's happening.
Ooh, what girl? I don't know how you got invited to the secret party. Y'all hear out there, arrow classes and wilderness things, and you can get your seat by the door and find out some tea. So come on, you got some tea for us. What's the white bow and arrow swinging men saying? Go ahead and tell us, because we read through the line.
You know what? Sometimes I swear they don't even know that they're biased. It just happens that way. One of the comments was about black when somebody has black tattoo ink, that they are, they have ill will for everybody else because they have black ink. And I kindly had to state that, a lot of black people wear black ink because color doesn't show up on them. And he had he had a response for that, about gel and ink, and you can tell about, and it's like, no, you meant what you said.
Nuance leads to confusion.
Yes, and he teaches a defense class, not my teacher, but another guy that was in the class. He teaches a defense class, and part of that is awareness and being aware of who you're around. So be aware if someone has all tattoos that are black.
He's teaching awareness. Awareness. Okay.
Yeah.
Be aware of people who have tattoos that are black. Does it matter if you was born
color ink, just all black? Just
Does it matter if you was born with the tattoo? Like this? Be aware of that.
Born with the tattoo, Richard.
I'm just saying, if you was born with a tattoo that was all black, you need to be aware of them too? Right.
Shut up, Jeffrey. I was like, what? Yeah. That's probably what he really meant.
I mean,
but he teaches the class, and he teaches this information.
I'm sure somebody's in the class walking away with that, you know, with that perspective on that lesson.
But no, he has a whole class that he teaches defense, and this is part of awareness. So he's probably taught hundreds of people about being aware of those who have tattoo. And he also said, you know, you got to be aware if somebody reaches, you know, toward their back, and it's like, but they could be reaching in their back pocket or pulling up their pants. And it says you got to be ready to shoot then when they pull out. You don't want to let them get that thing out. And it's like, oh my God. This is fear being spoken. It's showing up as something different. Showing up as being ready, but it's really about fear, right? The fear of I don't know this community. I don't know this group of people, and this is suspicious activity to me. So I should shoot it.
And of course, I gotta get, you know, old school. We back at old school, baby. Never left it, but I gotta get them before they get me, because of course, you know, if I was them, I would get me. So I know they probably gonna get me because I would get them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they think. Yeah, but we aren't paying attention to that. Yeah.
Child, so Q is out there. Just see y'all. We got just love and respect to Q, bringing us these survival tips and doing it out there in the woods with, you know, our white brothers who, you know, may have different perspectives.
Now some of them are great.
They
some of them are really
arrows and things.
They are. They even invited me to the homestead. You know, if something goes down, I'm invited to, you know, because they know I know some stuff, so I could be helpful. So I don't think that they know that they're racist sometimes. They really believe that, you know.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I think there's a lot of folks who this day and age especially don't know that they are racist or prejudiced.
They don't.
Because in individual experiences, right, they see themselves as having moved beyond race. So if somebody challenged him, he would probably say, see, I don't got a problem with you. Okay, that's an interaction between me and you in this moment. However, the fact that you're promoting bias across our cultural system in public space of folk who got black tattoo or folk who might frequently reach behind themselves says that you actually do have a problem with elements.
And he doesn't even know. Because he and his son came to the class together, and his son has a black girlfriend. So somewhere there's a black woman who hears this and doesn't say anything, or isn't aggressive enough about saying anything. Because me, that would be biased enough for me to break up with you, right? Like if I heard you saying this, I might be, you know, pushed to be like, oh, this relationship doesn't work. Let me go.
Let's talk about that. Because you know what, you know, everybody has their own journey and story and reasoning around things, but I call it the bad person syndrome. You know, I have had friends over years who've been in relationships with non-black people. I've been in relationships with non-black people. However, I'm always baffled by black people who are in relationships with non-black people, and that person or the people that they're around frequently make jokes about blackness or frequently make slurs about blackness, and that person just, you know, oh, that's them. You got to understand where they come from.
They discount it, and they don't know the impact that they're having on the entire community. Because if this black woman had stepped up and said, hey, this is completely racist and it's coming from his girlfriend, he might receive it differently than he's receiving it from me. You know, because he's probably taught this to 100 folks, and now he has 100 people thinking that this is, you know, they learned this in a class, so evidently it must be true, because they don't know either that black people don't, you know, if your complexion is dark, you may not accept color. They don't know it either. They're just as dumb as the person who taught them about it in some cases. But a lot of the people in the survival training spaces really don't believe that they're racist.
Well, most racists don't believe that they're racist.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm frequently the only black person there, and so they don't necessarily know.
Okay, then. Well, there's some work to do and learning on the other side. On the other side. That's
yeah. Like one of the things that like really got at me is when he said that, the main problem with what's going on right now is that our civil liberties are being attacked. And it's like, what do you mean? He says, I can't go to the park and without the police coming and telling me and my son we have to go. I said, what are you talking about?
oh, pobrecito.
What are you talking about? He says, I'm a constitutional guy, and anybody who knows me will tell you I know my Constitution. I say, well, you know the Fourth Amendment, right, too. You know the Fourth Amendment says, you can't search and seize my property, just because you want to. And he says, oh, well, that happens when it's necessary. I say, yeah, I got stopped 3 times in Virginia, and I wasn't speeding. And I even got pulled out of my car, not pulled out, but they wanted me to get out of my car so they could search it. Oh, that's because 95. I said, wait a minute, hold on. What does 95 being a drug route have to do with me? He's like, but you got to understand what the police have an issue with, and that don't have anything to do with me. So I said, are you okay with my civil liberties being ignored since there's a reason? So are we doing, if you have a good reason for civil liberties being attacked, it's okay? As long as it's not yours? And I said, look, we either have it all or nothing. And that's what, everybody else was like, she's right. And they were, other racist, I'm not going to say racist. I don't ever want to call, because I really don't think a lot of these folks are racist. They got it from that perspective, because you have to relate things back to people from their lens. Like, wait a minute, it is happening to other people. It didn't affect me. So, and then he makes up some story about how he was in a government vehicle and they stopped him and pulled him out of his car too. I'm like, man, you just at this point you're making up stuff. Nobody pulled you out of government vehicle.
He was reaching.
Nobody pulled you out of government vehicle to search your car as a white man. The police didn't do that to you, sir. That didn't happen. Yeah. You're making that up.
He was now trying to bond with you. He was trying to establish a common experience. Yeah. Because you had schooled him. You had opened up a door of, and everybody joined to my side. Like, you can't really do one without the other. You can't understand it there and not understand it here. That's why it's no big deal for our community. It's like civil liberties been being attacked. They've been attacked. This is a normal thing for my community. It makes me wonder. So we were talking solutions, in the past weeks. Is now in this moment, and is there an opportunity to begin to help some people who don't understand, right, the lived experiences of Black people in America around inequity and inequality and lack of access and civil liberties being taken away, right, just from basics of being present, right? Is there an opportunity to have conversation, to have experience with folks like this gentleman, to get them to, even in a moment, to have there is some similarity? Because we know that's the struggle, right? So you have this big racial divide. You have all these other divisions that exist across communities, gay, straight, of course, Black and white, that are consistently used to keep us from dialogue and recognizing that, like, in this moment, it's all about economics, all about economics and the dollar. And we never get to see the commonality in that lived experience with the systems that determine our economics, the systems that determine our health access, the systems that determine our education access, opportunity access. Like, we all are having experiences with this system that often isn't fair and equitable. However, there's a set of us that other folks think, and many of us have accepted, that it's okay for it to be, it's accepted, it's expected that it's going to be fair and equitable. So, that is what it is. Is there an opportunity in this moment to, like, did you feel that in that interaction with that gentleman? Like, there was an opportunity in the space to have a conversation?
There might have been an understanding of how it needs to be all or nothing, right? But I'm not sure there was an understanding enough to act on it. Like, he wouldn't go out and fight for the civil liberties of Black people, right? It still goes back to, is it affecting me? And that's why this is such a big deal, because now it's affecting me. I don't care. And it's very hard to get people to understand when, you know, what did Martin Luther King say? When justice is attacked anywhere, it's attacked everywhere. Something to that something. It was something like that. You can't allow anything to be attacked, because trust me, it's coming for you. When we heard Black people, you know, going off about, you know, how they were putting Mexicans in cages. Well, it's not their country. Trust me, honey, they're coming for you next. Don't think that they're gonna stop. You know.
No, you just being let to get infected by COVID.
Yeah.
And what happens, because our health services system is stressed and strained
and being told to go bankrupt. So.
Well, then there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
There's that. All right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, how you sum it up, Q? How you sum it up for us? What?
How do I sum it up?
How did you walk out of that moment? How did you walk out of that experience after that conversation?
It made me want to do more work. It made me want to learn more survivalism. It made me understand a little bit more about, you know, all the prejudices. It's not just, it's so big that we couldn't possibly understand, and they don't even understand. A lot of them do. I'm not saying that there aren't people who are just blatant, I hate Black skin, but it's other people that are running out of fear, and they're trying to disguise it. Shame, self-esteem issues. It's a lot of stuff wrapped up in that soup. And we just have to prepare ourselves. We have to do as much education as we can when we hit those moments. And I think that's most important, is when there's an opportunity to explain to people in a way that they can digest, do that. Because sometimes I just want to just curse them out and be like, you know, that's what you want to do sometimes. But that, you know, what happens when you're screaming at somebody? They don't hear you. They're screaming back at you, so they can't hear you. So there's an opportunity to not only win him, it's an opportunity to win other people over so that they can understand. And maybe it shows up in some small event that he says, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't teach exactly that. Maybe I should talk about this special ink, not regular ink. And maybe that helps them think about deciphering. You know, jailhouse tattoos. I don't know.
You know, small seeds create, you know, orchards, you know, and patches and vineyards, you know, that grow beyond our imagination. So you are indeed correct on that. Yep. You were present, you showed up, and you didn't run away from the opportunity to both learn more and then also impart something. And that's part of something that I'm taking away from you sharing this. There's a lot going on right now. So, yeah. Well, come on, give us our survival tip of the day. What do you have for
survival tip of the day is something we talk about a lot over at the survival classes. One of the things we talked about was guns. We talk a lot about guns in the survival class.
I'm sure.
You know, a lot of the bullets are out. You can't get a lot of bullets for a lot of the common guns, like your 9mm or your 12 gauge. So those bullets are a little bit harder to find right now. But always understand the difference in between a defense weapon and maybe a hunting weapon. So, and what you can actually use. Whereas a 45 might knock somebody down, you may not be able to use a 45. So you should know the gun you can use. Don't just buy a gun because your cousin said it's a good gun. You have to shoot it yourself first. So that's what I would say, is don't listen to anybody else's advice on guns. Do your own research and shoot that gun or at least that caliber gun, before you purchase any type of weapons.
All right, because there's a lot of folks out here now, you know, when emergencies hit, I'm gonna go get me a gun. You get a gun, gotta get a gun, get safety, right?
Don't know what they buy.
Don't know what
and
they
don't
buy.
buy a pink gun either. They always the worst quality. It's like buying a Corvette. You buy a high price Corvette when you could have bought the hard top for a lot lower.
Hey, word from the wise, all right? Yes. Well, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Hot Topics, and I'm gonna wrap it up, you know, with a moment of recognizing that, you know, taking part of this takeaway from Q's story, this interaction with the gentleman, and the comment about the, you know, being fearful, hesitant of folks that got just black, you know, tattoo ink on them, you know, and how you responded and engaged in that conversation created an opportunity. And so from that, folks, I want to say, you know, in these moments, there are going to be moments of stress where we have opportunities and learn things about people that we are around, particularly as we start to navigate back out into civic and social life with all these stresses popping. Take a pause. Before we react, I was starting this episode, so I was feeling very reactionary. And actually, when I first heard Q say that about the tattoo, I was ready to, But then, taking a pause and hearing her story, I'm able to learn how she was able to take that opportunity, be still, listen, hear him out to get his own perspective, and then leverage that and flip it and share an experience of her own lived experience that allowed him maybe to create a new perspective. So as we go forward, there's a lot of stuff, bombs being thrown. Take the pause, don't react. It might be an opportunity to plant a seed for a new perspective and help somebody grow and help us unite a little bit better so that we build and create ourselves out and forward. All right. So thank y'all for joining us. I am Jeffrey DeShawn, and this is Q Wiggins, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.